Now, Lovell-Smith, who I assume it was before. Sorry about that.
That's all right. I was just told to come in by the other bloke. That's one. Kia ora.
Kia ora, welcome.
And thank you for giving me the chance to make a submission. I'm aware that my written submission sounded slightly angry, which expressed my frustration at what I was seeing as the slow action being taken to mitigate the effects of climate change. Today I just want to perhaps make two stronger points on. The first one is planning, and I basically endorse everything that's been said before me in terms of mixed use residential and light industry. And I think our present regulations probably stem back to the times when industry was things like tanneries and smelly, dirty, noisy things. They're not now. We could mix up an awful lot of industry and residential. I think that there needs to be a much more comprehensive planning department within the council which joins up the dots, all of the dots which are features of climate change mitigation. You've made your 7 points, or whatever it was, points in your pamphlet, which are really good. But I think they need to be considered in all aspects of subdivision planning and individual resource consent granting. And there's some really good things happening around the place, but just as I feel hopeful, I come up against something like the new houses in the racecourse area along Yolthurst Road, which are jammed together right up against the fence, individual housing. It looks terrible now. I don't know what it's going to look like in 50 years. So it's just that, the whole effect of planning, I think, needs to be bigger and take more into consideration, and climate change has to be the bottom line of everything. And the other thing I want to rave on about, of course, is public transport. I think you've all heard me talking about that. And again, I'm just sort of worried. It's 53% of the city's emissions, but is transport. And some of that, of course, is trucks and moving goods around, which I know all about living in Hornby, because they all seem to move through Hornby. But I use the bus a lot, and there's a lot of things wrong with it, that using a bus, that make people not happy with it. For example, some of the roads are still quite rough, and the bus's springs seem to be a bit defective, so that you end up feeling car sick and, sort of feeling. There's bad servicing of the buses, so that I don't think the gear changing's smooth enough, the brakes are horrible. There's quite often I end a bus trip feeling quite ill, and I think, oh God, I'm never going to go by bus again. The idea to close down, sorry, I've lost time, but Riccarton is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we're talking about safety in the streets, and to close down a safe place to wait for buses is absolutely counterproductive to encouraging people to use buses. We need much more encouragement and proactive advertising and incentive and discussions about public transport to get people out of their cars and into buses. And I've put a little bit of those points in my submission, like having lock-up bikes at supermarkets and things, lock-up bike places so you can bike to the supermarket, lock your bike up, catch a bus to the city and back, and things like that. All sorts of things that would make it easier and more attractive for everybody, but especially old people like me, who are getting older and feebler by the day, and we need more and more support to keep us moving around the city.
Thank you very much. Okay. And you've been a lot more detailed in your actual submission, which has been very helpful. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you.